Today, we're gonna do some shoddy electrical work on my BMW. So I'm decided finally, like 3 years after I purchased it, that I want to make my right turn signal work. It hasn't worked for a long time, and I realized the other day that that's probably why. So there's a wire coming off right here, and then this wire is right here. So I'm gonna do some testy and see if this is the wire for my turn signal.
First thing we had to do was strip the casing from the wiring harness from the 3 individual wires, and it was pretty easy to do on the side leading towards the actual turn signal because there was just more free wire there. On the other side where it was attached to the chassis, there was barely any wire, so it was pretty hard to get to the actual casing and get it off. Once we got the casing off, we actually decided to just pull the whole bulb assembly out and strip the individual wires on the workbench, so that just made things a little bit easier.
So if my theory is correct, applying power to these and ground to this should light up the bulb. So there you go, bulb works.
Now that we've tested the bulb and the assembly, we know that they both work. We have to strip off the other side so we can attach the wires together. This was actually pretty challenging because there was only about 1 inch of wire on the chassis side, and it was really tightly wound, so that's about all we could get access to. So I spent about 20-25 minutes looking for electrical tape before I realized that there just wasn't any here, and I was going to have to wait until I could get some. When we realized we didn't have any electrical tape, we decided we'd just move on to the taillights. So the first step was getting the actual plug unplugged from the taillight assembly so we could test the individual sockets on the plug and figure out which one was responsible for which lights. So we did a bunch of testing on the brake lights and turn signals. It took both my hands to actually use the test light, so it was pretty hard to get good footage of it. But basically we determined that there was actually signal going to both harnesses for turn signals and for brake lights, and so the wiring is all good, that the assemblies are just bad. Here you can see we've actually plugged the right hand tail light into the left hand harness to see if anything would light up, and nothing happened. When we take the left tail light and plug it into the right harness, some of the spots don't line up quite right, so when it thinks it's a brake light, it's actually a turn signal, but the harness still lights up the assembly, so we know that the left assembly is just bad.
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I come out in the garage and just spin my motor. Back again. Got some electrical tape and some fuses and some help, and we're gonna finish up the wiring on the wiring on that light.
Basically, I'm just wrapping each of the individual wires with electrical tape, and then I'm going to wrap them all 3 together to kind of make a new wiring harness. After that, we had to check all the fuses because we blew a fuse last night, so basically just had to replace that so that we'd be able to test the turn signal again.
There we go. That's our culprit right there. Consider it repaired. They both work. What do you say, Scott? What do you say? So these are my old taillight assemblies. I don't know why exactly, but it's pretty common that they just tend to fail after a while. And seeing as this is a 25-year-old car, I'm not really surprised. So I've got a set of 2 coming in. They're just eBay, but I figured, whatever, they're just taillights. And if they break, then whatever, I get a nicer set. But basically this whole top part here where it's yellow on this one is clear. So it's like the Euro style. And I actually like that better, I think. So the rest of the car is kind of two-tone. These are really the only yellow things. I think eventually I'm going to get white covers for these corner indicators here, just so I have the whole Euro look.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching. Good vibes, and leave a comment and subscribe and leave a like.